What is it with Delhi that we keep on seeing records getting broken on an everyday basis? On yet another belter of a deck, we have seen these two individuals create history, and Netherlands were absolutely blown away by this onslaught done by David Warner and Glenn Maxwell, because after the end of 50 horrendous overs, I would say torrid overs, torrid plus horrendous overs for the Dutch, Australia have ended on 399 for 8. And David Warner, let me start with David Warner, 6th World Cup century. He overtakes Ricky Ponting. He's level with Sachin. But that exhibition was put into the backdrop by a absolutely tremendous display from the big show, Glenn Maxwell. 6. And with that, he had notched up the fastest ever century in the history of the World Cups. Remember, just about 20 odd days back, Aiden Markram had hit a record century here of 49 balls. Maxwell bettered it in 9 balls. Same venue, different opponents, but records remain the same. Aiden Markram had the fastest 100 in a World Cup. 20 plus days later, it's gone to Glenn Maxwell. And in the process, yet another record was broken, which is why we haven't put his photo here, because he would be feeling so down in the dumps. Bas de Leede now has the most expensive figures in the history of ODIs. 10 overs, no maidens, none for 113, that's the past. Bas de Leede today conceded 114.
In fact, we were talking about Maxwell in the pre-innings show. A very important match it was going to be for Maxwell because he hadn't performed with the bat yet. But oh boy, that was a monstrous knock from Maxwell. His batting was missing in this World Cup. And the Delhi wicket has looked a belter again, match after match after match. Second time a team has to chase 400 on this Delhi ground. And Glenn Maxwell, that was just some amazing hitting. He looked in his element. If you remember the 2014 IPL, if I'm not wrong, that was when Maxwell was hitting a reverse sweep to a pacer. He looked. That was amazing.
He did a reverse scoop over third man for a 6. He then reverse slogged a 6 to, you may say, square third man. What would be backward square leg for a left-hander? Square third man, he reverse slogged. And I think that shot meant that Glenn Maxwell had come here to absolutely decimate the Netherlands bowling. You cannot look at any other way possible here, because that reverse shots that he hit, everything connected, and it was a full toss on leg stump, wham, home run after home run after home run, 6 after 6 after 6. The Netherlands were just found wanting, and because of that, 399 for 8, with Bas de Leede conceding 115 with 2 wickets, scant consolation, but now he holds that record. You had to feel bad for the Netherlands, but if you're playing elite competitions, this is the kind of treatment that you have to prepare for.
It was a great day for the Australians, and that made Netherlands' day pretty bad on the field today. They are going to go after this total, but it's very far from them.
It is. 131 runs were hit in 9 overs. 131. That is the carnage that we have seen in Delhi today, because it blows me away. How can somebody who has such a wide array of strokes, why don't we count Glenn Maxwell as one of the players in the Mr. 360 category?
Yeah.
He has all the strokes, he can do unbelievable things, but the one thing that goes against him, consistency.
Yeah. But he also gives that impact to the Australian side. He is definitely a match winner. I remember the season he fired in the IPL. He took Punjab to the finals just on his own. So if he comes back in form for the remaining of the Australia, he could be that X factor for them. The person we haven't been talking about that much. With Warner giving that sort of a start at the top of the innings, it's his back-to-back second century. There were a lot of questions on him before the centuries he scored about his place in the side, because he wasn't getting runs since a very long time consistently. But now with 2 back-to-back centuries from Warner and Maxwell doing this kind of a performance in the middle order, Australia are definitely coming into their best.
Look at Maxwell. Shashwat is very much right in saying that Glenn Maxwell is a match winner. He can turn games just like that. 2015 and 2023, these two hundreds that he scored, okay, 100 he scored of 51 balls, by the way, in Sydney against Sri Lanka. There was a backdrop to Maxwell. There was questions asked about his form and his ability. And the emotions that came after he scored that 100 yet again summed up that why Glenn Maxwell is such an important part of the Australian setup. You want new age Australia who would want to go for power hitting? Look no further than this man. 8 years later, coming off a broken leg career at the crossroads, not been in good form, when he got that 100, okay, many will argue, oh, it is just against the Netherlands. But remember, minnows nowadays, associate nations nowadays punch above their weight.
Yeah.
Maxwell hitting that century, you saw the emotion. He wants to belong in the Australian setup for far too long. His mental issues have been there. There's been mental health issues with him. Now, you need, for a guy who suffers on these kind of occasions, you need to give him backing. And that's what the Australian team has done, and you are seeing the fruits of that right away. What a brilliant exhibition of batting from Glenn Maxwell. Looking at 2015, looking at 2023, 8 years, 2 knocks, Sri Lanka and now against the Netherlands. You can argue that perhaps when the chips are down, Maxwell finds the right moment and he capitalizes on it. You saw the century celebrations today, how much it meant for him. That is why, if Maxwell comes to the party, then this Australian team, now imagine, the final pieces of the jigsaw puzzle have to fit in. Travis Head comes in. Mitchell Marsh is in good form. Warner is in good form. You've got Maxwell coming in. And imagine if Green sits out. Green is the only guy who's not fired with the bat.
Yeah.
But if he fires, God help opponents.
Exactly. And even if Stoinis fires in that sense, God help the opponents. And I wanted to get to this part also, that gradually Australia are getting to their best and they are reaching their peak. All the jigsaw puzzle is solving. And as far as Maxwell is concerned, this might be a century that has come against a minnow side, if you would call the Netherlands. But this would give him a lot of confidence, and that is going to be dangerous for the teams that are going to play Australia next.
Yeah, because see, now Australia are going to play two major teams that they're going to play. Is against New Zealand on October 28th and against England on October, I don't know, I think it's on November 4th.
Are they playing any game in Bengaluru?
No, they aren't playing any game in Bengaluru. I think 28th is Dharamshala, 4th is Ahmedabad. The England game is in Ahmedabad, and Afghanistan is in Mumbai. Bangladesh is in Pune. So they aren't playing any games in Bengaluru. But man, Delhi, the way how they have played today, if Maxwell had done this in Bangalore, then 370, no, Pakistan would have very well been chasing 450. Today, many people are saying 450 loading, but then they came close to 400. Yeah. And we may say credit to the Netherlands bowlers in the middle overs for trying to dry up the flow of runs. But their chances of restricting Australia were eliminated in the end by Glenn Maxwell, but by this individual, David Warner. We had discussed a couple of days back in the dugout. Why don't we include David Warner as one of the greats when you talk about the Fab Four, maybe in white ball cricket?
Yeah.
Warner, again, 6th World Cup ton, and also he's gotten past Ponting, level with Tendulkar, and now he might, with both Australia and India having 4 games in the league stages, who knows, Warner and Rohit might be competing each other for most hundreds. And Warner, remember, if he gets one more, he levels Rohit, and that is before India play on Sunday. So you never know with David Warner. I mean, David Warner also, after a lean couple of years, he's again shown on the big stage why he is the big game player.
And why the team in fact backs him that much, because it was never, maybe we as people who cover the game did think that Warner might get dropped when Hyde comes back because they are fighting for the same slot. But I had never two thoughts about the fact that Australia would not be picking someone like a David Warner, because I also remember the T20 World Cup they won. Before 21. That, he was dropped by the SRH. And I remember the captain calling up, and this story really went viral after the World Cup, that David Warner would be the man who would win you the World Cup, and exactly that's what happened.
Yep, indeed.
So, and because in the backdrop of the centuries hit by Maxwell and Warner, we should also not miss Steve Smith's important 71 runs, because that has also helped Australia get to this total, and some runs from Steve Smith were also important.
I mean, yes. I mean, Steve Smith, I mean, today the amount of hitting that he did, even he went out of his comfort zone to score very quickly. Very unlucky that he missed out on a ton, because even he looked very, very good. The pull shots that he made, 71 of 68 balls, the pull shots, the flicks, the glances, the off drives, everything seemed to suggest that Steve Smith was slowly coming back into form. Now, we tend to forget Warner, Maxwell, but if Smith in the middle order can be that old Steve Smith of 2015 and 19 in ODIs, then boss, Australia's batting looks a complete unit, on par with India, I may say.
And more than the runs that we are looking at as 400 the total, more than that, I feel they are going to take the confidence with them in the upcoming games, because they might have this thing in their mind that this is because of the because they are a minnow side and you have gotten them to 400, but the confidence that they were lacking in the first few games when they were dropping catches and they were not looking in shots. At that time, I remember sitting here and talking, and there were questions on if Australia would qualify or not, but everything is falling in place for Australia at the right time, I feel.
Exactly, the batting is clicking, the bowling, that's another question altogether, because remember, now they are playing in 4 different venues, Dharamshala, then you are going to go to Ahmedabad, then Pune, Mumbai also, maybe Maxwell Warner's next major exploit could be in Mumbai, same ground where South Africa have regularly touched 370, 380, if Afghanistan's bowlers have a half day, maybe Australia can do it. And remember, in the previous encounter Australia and Afghanistan had, Australia actually won by just 4 runs. But that was enough to ensure that they could not qualify for the semi-finals due to net run rate. Now, in this particular scenario, today a 400, if they win by a massive margin, currently their NRR is minus 0.4. They can also get to positive and ensure that they are also in the midst amongst the top 4 now. Because remember, 3 of them, South Africa, India and New Zealand, have a great NRR. But Australia and the teams from the bottom, their NRR is actually the worst. And that's why if Australia can pull it off today, maybe a 200 run win or a 150 run win,
they will also end up having that advantage over, because basically the position for the 4th spot, I feel is between Pakistan, South Africa and Australia. Pakistan, and Australia.
We may see England.
These 2 people might be
even England, if they beat Sri Lanka and India in the next 2 games, who knows? Even they also
will be a big surprise, but it's going to be very difficult for them.
It will be difficult. It will be very, very difficult for them, and that's why I've got messages from. So I've got a message from Siddharth saying, "Does someone even remember Warner hit a century?" I said it, that he laid the foundation. But the palace was built in such a brilliant way that the foundation got forgotten, because Glenn Maxwell, the reverse 6 hitting here, reverse switch hit 6 hitting, that's an art. AB de Villiers at that point, he made it famous. Now Maxwell's making it famous. Surya Kumar Yadav, by the way, doesn't rely on switch hits and all the other things. He is 360 degree in a very conventional manner.
Yeah, exactly,
So that is why Surya Kumar Yadav, AB de Villiers, but in the discussion of 360 degrees, I think we must include Glenn Maxwell.
Definitely. I don't know why I don't include him till now.
Consistency, as I had mentioned. Consistency. So Warner, I mean, I think this is 22nd ton, if I'm not mistaken. He's overtaken Ricky Ponting, my friends. How big a name is that? And that's why kudos to David Warner on his 2nd home ground, which is the Delhi Capitals home ground. You cannot take Hyderabad out of David Warner, because look at the celebration even when he did this. That's vintage Hyderabad. That's vintage Sunrisers Hyderabad and Telugu film industry. You can't take that out of David Warner. He is a Hyderabad boy, can adapt to Delhi, but he is a Hyderabad boy at heart. Then if we look at it, Travis Head is yet to come. Sudeep Adhikari, of course, as I mentioned, if Travis Head comes, Head, Warner, maybe Mitchell Marsh, Steve Smith, Glenn Maxwell, Josh Inglis, Marcus Stoinis, that's a power-packed batting. Anyway, if you get Green or anybody else,
and in this form,
that batting lineup will be so perfect. It will be like almost like how India's is. There isn't any weakness in the batting lineup.
Everyone's contributed in some way.
Exactly, except for maybe Shreyas Iyer. But give Iyer some slack. He's come back after a career-threatening back injury. Give him some time. Maybe if he contributes in the semi-final and the final, you'll all hail Shreyas Iyer as the next big thing, isn't it?
Forget all the performances he did in the remainder of the World Cup.
Sports fan was asking, with Netherlands, their chances are only there to upset if they get to bat first. Maybe. Because their one win came while they were defending a total.
I don't think the wicket is going to change much in the second innings, so I don't think that would have been a difference.
Yeah, you can't look at it in that way, because I will say why. Because you have to understand one thing. Delhi is different from Dharamshala. If they had batted first, they could have probably made 300, 320. Australia could very well have chased it down. We don't know. But today Australia won the toss and chose to bat anyways. So that's why that option got nullified. So one of our family members is like saying, Akash Kumar, hypocrisy at peak. Warner played for personal milestone, but you're not criticized. See, Akash, I'll tell you one thing. Okay. This is, I know where it is coming from.
Yeah.
Okay. Now remember, Warner slowing down. I agree. He was probably bogged down by the milestone. He took time. For 3 overs, he was stuck in the 90s. Agreed. Maybe he got bogged down. And yes, he was playing for the milestone. We can say that. But it wasn't blatant.
Exactly.
He wasn't trying to deny singles. He wasn't trying to do anything else. He got good balls. He defended it back. Unlike Virat Kohli's 48th ton, it was not blatant that he wanted a milestone. Warner playing for his milestone and blatantly playing for his milestone, there is a difference there, Akash Kumar.
You've explained it in a very nice way, because maybe he had that butterflies in the stomach, and there were much more. He could have built that innings up if he hadn't gotten out. So these are two very different things.
Very different things indeed. So So that is why I'm saying, Akash Kumar, it's not hypocrisy. Open your eyes, look at the broader picture, look what happened. Who denies singles to KL Rahul? I can understand if Kohli was playing with the tail, then yes, 150% deny singles. Rotate strike, farm the strike, get to 100, but not in this way. It was blatant that he wanted the 100. Even in Dharamshala, he wanted 100. He denied a single to Ravindra Jadeja. At that time, we all agreed, okay, he deserved the 100 because he played so well. But as I had mentioned, the shot that he went for, remember this term in Sanskrit, Vinash Kale Viprit Buddhi. If you try in some other odd way, if you remove convention, some things don't change. That's what happened with Virat Kohli.
Would you like to explain that quote in a little English also?
No, I don't want to. So, Sarfaraj Khan is saying, I think Australia will meet India in the semis. It looks like, Sarfaraj...
That is Bombay then.
It looks like we are heading into that 2015 scenario right at this point in time, because remember the 4 semi-finalists in 2015 were New Zealand, South Africa, India, Australia, and India-Australia happened in Sydney because Australia were on top, India were 4th, New Zealand was 2nd, and
was India 4th in that World Cup?
India was not 4th. I think India was 1. I'm saying.
You're saying Australia was 4th?
Maybe, yes.
No, Australia ran through in that tournament.
Oh, but wait, it was a group structure, na?
Yeah.
So, group structure, India and South Africa finished 1 and 2. New Zealand, Australia.
Did India lose to South Africa? No, they didn't.
India didn't lose any. So, this is what happened. 1-2, 1-2. Okay.
Yeah.
1 met 2, 2 met 1.
Okay, yeah. So, you're saying that
Cross.
in England, Australia was 2nd.
Yeah. A1 met B2. B2 met A1.
Okay.
Sorry, A1 met B2, B1 met A2. A2.
Yeah.
So that was the situation. So nothing in that sense. So yeah, we
wouldn't want the World Cup to end the way that thing.
Yeah. Oh, boss, if you're facing Australia, in the semi-final, be scared. Be very scared.
No, don't be scared. I think it will start at 50-50.
No, because no.
Everything, but
Australia in knockouts.
Yeah, that is there.
They are an alpha beast in the knockouts. And looking at it, see, is it any coincidence that, okay, in this entire decade, they have lost only once in the quarterfinal, once in the semi-final, only once in this entire 23 years. And even in 1996, they lost in the final. 87, they reached the final, they won. Semi-final and final, it will take something out of the ordinary to ensure that Australia are denied. So let's hope that doesn't. Anyways, the table could churn. Remember, if England bounce back with 3 consecutive wins, then Australia might necessarily.
Just halfway through.
If New Zealand beat Australia, Even they are not guaranteed than Australia. So let's see. If Australia beat New Zealand, then even New Zealand are not guaranteed. So let's see.
Yeah.
So that is the situation. And let's see if we have got any further comments at this point in time, because I am looking at. Okay, Nikhil, we have picked too early. Peaked too early? No, I don't think so.
I wanted to talk about that, but this is not the right time to talk about that.
Yeah, it's not the right time.
Yeah, let's just leave this thing.
Let's leave it. I don't see peaking and all that, boss.
Yeah.
There is
that I kind of do agree with you, Siddharth, but did I say his name right?
Yes.
Yeah, but we'll talk about this.
We'll talk about it. But Nikhil mentioned that, not
Sorry,
Siddharth.
that's why I said.
Yeah.
That's why I was just confirming.
Nikhil
yeah,
said
so
that.
I do agree with you, but we will talk about this. So do join us at that point also.
Yeah. So
you have to subscribe.
And at this point, Warner's 100, Maxwell's record-breaking fastest ever World Cup ton today of 40 balls has happened. Australia 399 for 8. Netherlands will need 400. If Australia can get a big win, their net run rate will get boosted. So from me and Shashwat, it is bye-bye. We'll be back for the post-match. Let's see whether Netherlands can pull off a miracle or can Australia achieve a big win. Bye-bye.
Bye.